Alright guys, welcome back to another video. If you didn't check Tuesday's video out, make sure you do. It's a whole rundown of what we've got going on in the basement fish room. I think you'll really enjoy it, and it includes this 125 gallon in the wall, which is pretty badass. So I'll leave a card up in the top right hand side right now. Apologies for the quality of this video. I've been breaking down walls just by front kicking them, you know, standard. But today we're going to be taking a look at the 33 gallon right after this. Alright, so this is a 33 gallon long, not a common tank that you usually see, but when I saw it on Let Go, just had to have it. I think I got it for about 30 or 40 bucks, so absolute steal. And it's the same footprint as a 55, just not quite as high, so 4 feet long. And these Jalo Reefs and Lwandas have got a lot of growing room in here. Definitely a lot more than what they had in the 10 gallon, so really happy with this tank. I haven't filled it up all the way to the top just because I've just recently moved it and I'd not even test filled it, so a little bit of a risk setting it up straight away, but let's take a look. So as you can see, this is a very basic scape. I've still got the Lwanda's little hideout, and I've not even had time to wipe down the marks on the glass, so apologies for that. The tank's filtered by a basic sponge filter that I had in the 10 gallon, and it's been heated by an Aquarium Pro heater, which is always my heater of choice. Just think they're really good materials, really nice, and that black plastic a lot of the time just blends in with my backgrounds that I use. Although for this tank right now, I'm just using this background that the tank came with. So left side of the tank, we've got a little wave maker that I'll turn on a lot of the time just to increase surface agitation. We've got the Lwanda's little hideout, we've got a few rocks, and then we're using the same sand substrate that we use in the 55 gallon and that we're going to be using in the 125 gallon show tank, as I believe it's the best substrate for African cichlids due to a multitude of things. It doesn't buffer the water, you can actually gravel vac it, it's not dusty at all. Small grain sizes so you can really see them sift through the sand, which is awesome. I did do a video on that, so if you want to see that video, I'll leave a card in the top right hand side of the screen right now. It was sold at PetSmart, I'm not sure if it is anymore, but if you can get your hands on it, definitely do that. Awesome substrate. But that's the left hand side of the tank. On the right hand side, we've got the sponge filter, and then a rock that I actually had to take out of the 10 gallon planter tank. That's why it's got the algae on it, but I've actually seen some of the Jalo Reefs picking at it from time to time, which is pretty cool. So all in all, really happy with how this tank turned out. I'm planning on doing water changes later this week, so I'll take maybe 10 gallons out of this and then fill it back up, but fill it back up with about 15 so the tank is fully filled, which will make it look a little better. Just wanted to bring this video as I'm sure a lot of you were intrigued on what this tank is and the footprint and all that good stuff. So let's take a look at these guys feeding, and we're going to be feeding them some Northfin pellets and some Omega-1 Supercolour flakes. And every few days we'll also throw some algae wafers in there for the Jalo Reefs especially. So overall, the move and transition for the Jalo Reefs and the Lwandas into this tank went pretty good. I only managed to take about 7 or 8 gallons from the 10 gallon to the 33 in the new place, and I just wanted to do this just because I didn't know the water parameters of the new place and I wanted them to be as similar as they possibly could. So if The pH, let's say at the old place was 7.5 and this pH happens to be 8 or 8.2. I didn't want that big pH swing when I initially set up the tank. So I decided to be cautious and take as much water out of the original 10 gallon for these guys as I could. So that worked out pretty well. I've had no deaths and all the fish are eating. And the only thing I have noticed is that they're a little bit spooked, especially when I turn the light on, just because it's a newer environment and they're yet to get used to the tank. The Alunicara Lwanda stud male that you can see a tiny little bit in his pot at the left hand side of the tank is really spooked at the minute, but he's got that pot to keep himself secure and he's lost a little bit of colour, but not too much, so I'm sure he'll bounce back. Especially once we get some more of his strain, the Alunicara Lwanda, in the next few weeks. And they should be good to add to this tank, as I've only got 10 fish in here right now, 4-foot tank. I'll probably end up getting 8 more Lwandas, grow them out and then eventually breed them. The strain is awesome. It's actually part of Dave Hale's strain. If you follow this channel, follow African Cichlids at all, I'm sure you know Dave is the owner of Something Fishy in Cleveland, Ohio, has some awesome fish and that's part of his strain. So pretty excited to breed these Lwanda when I eventually get them. The Jalo Reefs are all doing really well, and I'm sure you can see on the video they kind of school together. A lot of these fish, when you first introduce them, seem to school together and really enjoy swimming together, which is cool to see, and they absolutely devour the algae wafers when I throw those in the tank. The stud Lwanda just chills out here the majority of the time, but he does come out every now and again. But as I've said in previous videos, especially when I'm growing out fish and I want some males to colour up, I really feel like it's beneficial and necessary to have a pot like this. Just helps them feel secure and feel safe and gives them their own little territory and environment to feel comfortable in. But you will notice when he comes out in a minute that he has lost a little bit of colour. I'm sure that'll come back once he gets used to the environment. It is a way bigger tank and I'm sure he's a little bit spooked out by that, but he's still looking good. Those fins are absolutely awesome. Just really love this fish. I cannot wait to get my room set up and have more Lwandas, grow them out and then eventually breed them. The strain is just unbelievable. And I've always loved this fish for both its colour and its elongated finnage, as a lot of Lwandas seem to have those really long fins, which is pretty cool. Gonna have a lot of fun breeding them, that's for sure. So John, if you happen to be watching this video, mate, I'm definitely coming for some of those Lwandas soon. Really excited to get them. In terms of the Jalo Reefs, my aim with these guys is just to grow them out and see what happens with them. See if I get some nice males. At that point, I may breed them, I may not. If I just grow them out and then sell them, so what? I've had fun keeping them and hopefully I'll get at least one male out of the group and I can eventually put that in the 125 show tank. Always love Jalo Reefs as well, that's why I got this breeding group. And a lot of them, I'm not sure if you'll be able to see it on this video, but they are getting egg spots. I think I've got at least 2 or 3 in there that will be males, so that's pretty exciting. So there you have it, guys. There's a 33. We're going to be looking at the 10 gallon next, which is filled with blue neons. We'll then be looking at the planter tank. We've had some new additions into the planter tank. You might notice one of the plants down there. The 125, hopefully we'll be getting set up soon. The 55, a little bit low water right now, need to do water changes, escape the tank, all that good stuff, so we'll be looking at that. Blue neon stud breeder male, still looking good, a little bit spooked, as you would be. And then the 20 gallon with the Alunicara Walteri and the blue neon backup breeder male, looking nice. So overall pretty happy with the room. Doesn't look too bad to say it's just a temporary setup, and I'm hoping that the fish room will get underway as soon as possible. Anyway guys, appreciate you all. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.